Test 1, 2, test.
Faleminderit shumë përfaqësues të mediave. Unë ju përshëndes, ju falenderoj në pjesëmarrjen tuaj. Nderuari komisioneri Hahn, është nësi e veçantë që t'ju kemi sot së bashku këtu në Kosovë, që diskutojmë çështjet që janë interes të përbashkët në Bashkimit Evropian dhe të Kosovës. Unë dëshiroj të informoj mediat se sot kemi ndarë shumë çështje të cilat i kemi konsideruar se janë të përbashkëta. Kam pas mundësinë e drejtpërdrejt që të njoftoj komisionerin Hahn lidhur me veprimtarinë dhe veprimet cilat po i merr Qeveria e Republikës Kosovës për të përmbushur agjendën evropiane dhe po ashtu të ndajmë edhe mendimet tona të përbashkëta lidhur me të gjeturat nga raporti i progresit, lidhur me progresin që ka bërë Kosova në shumë fusha, por edhe lidhur me atë se çfarë Kosova duhet bëjë më tutje. Diskutuam edhe për përfundimin e procesit liberalizimit të vizave, që është një proces në vëmendje të veçantë qytetarëve të Kosovës. Ky proces edhe më tutje mbetet prioritet ynë, sepse angazhohemi dhe duhet angazhohemi që atë ta përfundojmë sa më shpejt në mënyrë që të krijojmë kushte që qytetarët tanë të lëvizin lirshëm në zonën Schengen. Sot patëm një arsye të veçantë të takimit tonë, sapo lancuam zbatimin e 22 prioriteteve në kuadër të agjendës evropiane të reformave. Konsiderojmë se është kjo një nismë tepër e rëndësishme për Republikën e Kosovës, përmes cilës ne do të adresojmë prioritetet kryesore të procesit integrues të Kosovës në Bashkimin Evropian, cilat do të zhvillohen në kuadër të kornizës së marrëveshjes së stabilizim asociimit. Qëllimi sotëm ishte që ne të dakordojmë një agjendë të përbashkët, e cila do të fuqizojë zbatimin e marrëveshjes stabilizim asociimit dhe të avancojmë përmes saj në procesin e integrimit të Kosovës në Bashkimin Evropian. Gjitha këto prioritete që ne kemi përcaktuar së bashku me Bashkimin Evropian do të realizohen me përkrahje të gjitha subjekteve në Kosovë, të institucioneve të Republikës Kosovës, të opozitës, të institucioneve ndërkombëtare financiare, donatorëve, shoqërisë civile, të komunitetit biznisit. Dhe unë kam kënaqësi të veçantë them se Tani në takimin që patëm me komisionerin Hahn, ishin prezent pjesa dërmuese të tyre dhe kishim pashtu deklarimeve të tyre lidhur me përkushtimin që ata së bashku me ne të punojnë në këtë fushë. Tani mund të them se përgjegjësia mbetet në misionet tona në implementimin e planit veprimit për zbatimin e agjendës evropiane të reformave, përmes Ministrisë për Integrim Evropian e Drejtpërdrejti dhe përmes ministrive të tjera, por edhe në akordancë të plotë dhe të krijimet të sinergjie të përbashkët me gjitha institucionet dhe shoqërinë civile. Në fund që të ritheksoj se integrimi në Bashkimin Evropian ka qenë dhe mbetet vullnet dhe aspiratet qytetarëve të Kosovës, mbetet agjendë nacionale institucioneve dhe përfaqësuesve politik, si dhe një prej proceseve më esenciale me vleshtet ndërtuese të Republikës Kosovës. Unë edhe njëherë dëshiroj të falenderoj komisionerin Hahn për prezencën e tij, për ardhmën e tij sot, si dhe gjithë ata që kanë punuar në këtë agjendë dhe që kontribuan që këtë agjendë sot ta prezantojmë para jush. Faleminderit.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to thank at the beginning all our teams, I have to say, on preparing this agenda, this comprehensive agenda, as a, so to say, implementing tool to the Stabilization and Association Agreement, because it's not only about a general agreement, it's about giving them, so to say, life and reality, and this should be done via this association agreement. And I think the next step should be to identify and to fix certain deadlines when what should be implemented and also by whom. So in order to be more concrete, to be more precise, because so far we have agreed to have it implemented in between 12 and 18 months from now on, knowing a little bit that this is a more general time frame. I think it would be good to have a next step to be precise, so that everybody can follow and be, so to say, also committed. I would also like to highlight, if you allow, ladies and gentlemen, to say that I think the fact that I'm here together with my team and also the Vice President of the European Parliament, Mrs. Lunacek, only 2 days after the presentation and publication of the enlargement package is also, so to say, a strong signal about the importance the European Union attaches to Kosovo's progress and its European perspective. We have chosen Kosovo to go there just after this presentation, and this should also be a proof of our strong commitment concerning the European perspective. When it comes to the implementation of the European reform agenda, this requires definitely hard work, and I think we can better frame it once again if we fix certain deadlines in order to have the necessary pressure, positive push. And of course it also requires political will to implement necessary tough reforms, but I understand if I look into the list of items, all this is something which is strongly required by the Kosovan citizens. For instance, when it comes to appointments, simply merit-based, or the financing of political parties, if it comes to the reform of the education system, and of course to address the persistently high unemployment rate, in particular youth unemployment rate. The European Commission attaches great importance to this agenda, and it will remain our priority now and in future. We believe that this is the way for Kosovo to become an attractive place for foreign investors, but also an accountable place for domestic potential investors if there is an improved rule of law and so to say independent justice and judiciary sector in place. With this in mind, I think we can provide citizens with a stable and prosperous future for themselves and also for their children and grandchildren, and to keep pace with the rest of the region. I think this is something one should not forget. And we have started only 3 years ago this Berlin process, which is targeted to reconnect the region better to the European Union, but also the countries within the region. And I think one of the ideas just being put at the table is to have single market in the Western Balkan. To have a single market would be already a huge achievement in order to boost, to stimulate the economy, and we are working on this like we are working on a regional energy plan, which of course has to include all the activities and initiatives here in Kosovo. The European Union will continue to play a very strong role in supporting Kosovo's reforms, and this not only in political terms but also in technical and financial support. Altogether, we will provide over 600 million euro for the period 2014 to 2020. However, ultimately it's in Kosovo's hands to unlock all the potentials of the SAA and the European reform agenda, and to carry out the reforms in the interest of the citizens. I therefore strongly invite all political parties to work together to advance Kosovo in its EU-related reforms. And may I say, I'm very aware about the discussions here, speculations, rumors about snap elections, things like that. Look, this is the sole decision by the authorities and responsible people here in the country, of course, but from our point of view, I think the focus should be on delivering on, so to say, concrete issues which are demanded by the citizens, for which the political parties, their representatives have been elected. So I think personally the focus should be on implementation, should be on concrete deliverables. This is my understanding, this is my reading. I'm fully aware about, so to say, difficult domestic issues. It's also reflected in our report. There is still a strong political polarization between opposition and government over the past years. Definitely this had a negative impact, and I can only urge all of the players to understand that political debate should take place in the parliament, by the way, without tear gas and other similar issues, tools, and so on. It should be a competition about the best arguments, about the best ideas, and this finally is decisive and will certainly be awarded by citizens. But we should not, and this we discussed also, so to say, underestimate and play it down what has been achieved already in the past couple of months. And if you take everything together, if I count everything together, I think we have much more achieved. You have much more achieved than what has not been achieved. And this is also something one should highlight. I know there is a very strong and lively debate on visa liberalization, but also here I have to say I was a little bit surprised when reading and listening that now it's the Union which is to be blamed for not having visa liberalization. Ladies and gentlemen, we have agreed with the government 3 years ago a list of benchmarks, a list of benchmarks which has to be fulfilled, like it is the case with all the other countries. You might follow the discussion we have with Turkey. We were rather successful with Ukraine. Ukraine, by the way, had to fulfill more than 140 benchmarks. And with Kosovo, we have agreed 95 benchmarks. And out of these 95, 93 have already been fulfilled. So we are waiting for the remaining 2%, only to put it, so to say, into the right context. And there is one big issue apparently, and this is so to say, confirmation, legally binding confirmation by the Parliament on the demarcation line, and I can only urge all political parties, the member of the Parliament, to ratify this agreement, which has been already negotiated between the governments of Montenegro and Kosovo, and which in the meantime has been approved by the Montenegrin Parliament. So if this is part, so to say, of a further proof about the maturity of political will and capacity to implement things also in the interest of, so to say, the future country, the future of the country, then I really ask everybody to play its role, to be responsible enough, and to opt for this possibility that as the last country in the region, Kosovan citizens have indeed the possibility to travel without visa. And once again, we have already acknowledged the achievements so far. This is why we have presented already in May this year a report about all the achievements, all the fulfillments, and we have already decided this will be the last report, because we have expected that the two outstanding issues can be delivered very soon. Apparently not very easy, but it should be the case, and therefore it's not necessary to have another report. And we are waiting for this. And we can only make the next step if this is fulfilled to 100%. And I think I have to be clear, that's why I'm referring to this maybe a little bit more elaborated and exhaustive, that this is a condition where there is no real flexibility. This has to be understood, and if everybody is clear about this, then it should be possible to take the necessary decisions, and very soon there would be visa liberalization also for Kosovan citizens. I think this fits into the whole picture that nearly 80% of the citizens would like to see Kosovo sooner than later member of the European Union. This is exactly what is our aim, the aim of those who are negotiating, working with the countries in the regions on a future accession. But for that, we need also the tailwind from the region, from the country, and not any kind of headwind. Otherwise, so also our, so to say, possibilities are lowered, and this is not in the interest of anybody. Once again, I would nevertheless comment on what has been achieved in difficult political circumstances, but as I have said, in terms of visa liberalization, we are at the last mile. I was not aware when saying this a year ago that we are still on this last mile. So it is a very long mile, and maybe we are moving in a snake speed, but it should be achievable, and I hope it will be. I know that many players in the country are determined to it, and now it's up to the key players to pull on one string, but not only on one string, but in the right direction, and the right direction can only be the European Union. Thank you very much.
Ismail Shabani, Kosova Press. Pyetje për kryeministrin dhe komisionerin Hahn. A mund të shpjegoni ku qëndron risia e agjendës për reforma evropiane e cila u lansua sot? Çfarë ndryshon nga agjendat e kaluara integruese që janë ndjekur deri më tani nga Kosova?
Tani ajo që ne kemi bërë së bashku me Bashkimin Evropian është se në këtë fazë ne kemi përcaktuar 3 fushat e prioriteteve themelore, njëra që ka të bëjë me forcimin e ligjit, tjetra që ka të bëjë me forcimin e konkurrencës, dhe tjetra që ka të bëjë me arsimin dhe punësimin, që konsiderojmë se janë fusha me prioritet cilat pastaj zbërthehen në 22 prioritetet të caktuara dhe në një dinamikë kohore që ne duhet ta zbatojmë. E para ka të bëjë, e tha dhe komisioneri Hahn, atë se ne duhet forcojmë edhe më tutje institucionet të cilat zbatojnë ligjin në mënyrë që të forcohet shteti ligjor, të forcohet lufta kundër krimit organizuar dhe korrupsionit. E dyta që duhet forcojmë bizneset tonë dhe pjesëmarrjen e tyre në tregun e cila tani mundson marrëveshja për stabilizim asocim dhe natyrisht avancojmë me tregun e punës në cilin deri me tani kemi ngecë dhe nuk kemi arrit mjaft që të harmonizojmë kërkesat e tregut punës, të specifikojmë ato kërkesa, karshia saj që sistemi arsimit e ne mundson dhe mendoj se kjo na lehtëson rrugën sepse kemi të qartë se çfarë duhet bëjmë në mënyrë që të zbatojmë kornizën e marrëveshjes për stabilizim asocim.
Well, I don't have to add something in substance. I don't know if this has been distributed to the colleagues, so you can see indeed the list of 22 very precise defined areas. Honestly, it is something which should be done also without the European perspective, because it's finally in the interest of citizens if this is done. But if, so to say, the European perspective is a kind of support of shoehorn to get it, even better. And it's in a way anticipating future negotiations. So if it's done already now, it's already an investment in the future process and negotiation in concerning possible accession of Kosovo, a future accession of Kosovo to the European Union. But in principle, it should be understood as something which is in the, not only in the interest, but finally it benefits for Kosovari citizens. I mean, if you take the whole area of employment and education, all this is targeted to improve the quality of education. Also to link it with the needs of the business sector, for instance, to have a proper vocational training scheme, identifying the needs of the business sector and matching it with the educational system. All this is targeted to improve further the attractiveness of the country, to give job opportunities, to give people an opportunity to stay here, to attract foreign investors, having skilled labor workforce in the country. I mean, in my previous life, I was also a businessman, and I was involved and finally often deciding foreign investments. And one of the key questions or key criteria was always, is there a qualified labor workforce available? Because if you so to say set up a company in a country, you hire 99 or even more % of the employees on the ground, and this you will only do if you can rely on the quality of people. So we have to invest in all these things, and finally it pays off for the citizens, and this should be our aim, to improve living standard. Simply, people should have more money in their pockets.
Zorica Orgučić, gospodine Hahn, zanimaju me dve stvari. Prvo, koja je vaša glavna poruka, odnosno ključna poruka nakon predstavljanja ovog izveštaja za javnost na Kosovu uopšte, ne samo za političare? Mnogo se govorilo o viznoj liberalizaciji i uslovima, zanimaju me i druge stvari. Drugo, u izveštaju se govori o stanju ljudskih prava na Kosovu, pa me zanima vaše mišljenje o odnosu kosovske vlasti i Srpske pravoslavne crkve u svetlu događaja oko hrama Hrista Spasa u Prištini, zatim o imovini manastira Visoki Dečani i zabrani izgradnje u Svetim Arhangelima kod Prizrena. Hvala.
Well, I think as it was expressed and stated in the report, certainly in the area, and in particular the one you have referred at the later, there is room for improvement. this for sure. I think in general the fight against corruption, freedom of expression, all this is certainly something where further developments are necessary, but we also acknowledge what has already been done. But I think here clearly further improvements are necessary, and I think this is also expressed in the first pillar of the roadmap when it comes to good governance and the rule of law. So you see, we immediately continue to work on the basis of the findings of the enlargement report, and I think that's why I have been so vocal on my conviction that the government, but also the parliament, should be focused on deliverables, on concrete decisions and measures in order to make progress and not to get lost in discussions about new elections and things like that. Pardon?
U vezi odnosa kosovskih vlasti i Srpske pravoslavne crkve po pitanju hrama Hrista Spasa, zemljišta manastira Visoki Dečani i zaustavljanja gradnje kod Prizrena u Svetim Arhangelima.
Honestly, I'm not so say aware about concrete details, but part of a further developed society is indeed to have a proper relationship and proper level of contacts between all the different elements. And I think this is something which is, so to say, a huge achievement of Europe, the European Union, the Enlightenment, that it must be possible that the different parts of a society are not only living together, working together, respect each other, and I think there should also be an acceptance about the cultural and religious heritage of a region, and I think this is something which should be also in the interest of all, because reconciliation means that people are living together, people of different religious, cultural, and societal background. And I know this is not so easy here, but it should be an aim for all of us, and whatever we can do, we will contribute to it. But to have a peaceful future in the country, it's definitely necessary to find also here ways for a good kind of cooperation in the spirit of having the interest of the country in mind.
Le onoratul radiotelevizionit Kosovës për çështjen e liberalizimit vizave, ju fakt vërtetat që pa përmbushjen e 100% të kritereve nuk pritet këtë liberalizim. Pozita dhe opozita para pak kohësh kanë tentuar që të bëjnë fakte një deklaratë politike të asillin juve si mënyrë për të vazhduar tutje me procesin e liberalizimit, një pas këta në fakt nuk kanë arritur ta bëjnë. A pranon Bashkimi Evropian deklarata politike në mënyrë që liberalizimi të ecë dhe a ka mundësi që për çështjen e demarkacionit të krijohet fillimisht një lloj moratoriumi në mënyrë që liberalizimi të ecë derisa nuk ka vullnet politik që kjo çështje të kalojë?
This is exactly the point. It's not about statements, declarations. I mean, paper can be very patient, but what we need are legally binding decisions. And it's going beyond this concrete issue. It's so to say, a proof, if there is an ability in the country and the political will to take decisions, to arrive at decisions. I know personally the political situation here very well, but from an outside perspective, it's honestly difficult to understand that there is a government which is backed by a sound two-thirds majority, and within more than 1 year it's not possible to approve something. And therefore, I mean, if it's not possible to reach an agreement on this issue, there is a very low confidence that this is possible in other areas. So I think it's not a good idea to think about lowering the requirements and so on and show flexibility. This I think is finally counterproductive. I think I fully understand it's not easy, but on the other hand, everybody tells me here we want visa liberalization. Also representatives from the opposition, also representatives from the opposition within the government party, but then they should contribute to it. Yeah? I mean, this is a little bit, no, I want to stop on this point. I hope it's done.
Early elections, are there a solution? Early elections if this parliament can approve the border?
It has to be decided here, but I think personal experience. If you always cry for early elections, if you can't get a decision in the parliament, you will never, so to say, deliver on something. I mean, it must be possible to get agreements to adopt something, and honestly, I don't think that this is such a big issue, and I understand, and I was reassured there are also good relations between Montenegro and Kosovo, also on these issues. I think it should be achievable, and I mean, these are the daily challenges of politicians to get a majority. Yeah, and do you believe the situation will be different if there are early elections? The only consequence is that you lose and you waste another couple of months or maybe years. So that's why my plea is really try to get a majority. Also, this is, so to say, a task in itself. And to get it would be a proof about, so to say, the European majority of the country. And I think it should be understood by all the players here in the country. Thank you. Pardon? Everything is possible, but it will take time, it will take years, and there will be no visa liberalization.
Thank you.